What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 9 of Open Experience. I'm Kyle. Next to me here is Jordan, who's not paying attention at all.
What's up?
What are we talking about today?
I watched Never Back Down.
Did you watch the first one? I hope you watched the first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
There's multiple?
There's 3.
Like a reboot or like a
sequel.
trilogy?
Trilogy.
With same people?
No.
Well, Amber Heard was in this one and she was in the first one.
Well, so the Max, he's in all of them.
Who the fuck is Max? So okay. I'm gonna let you know right now. I know one person's name and 2 people's names.
Who?
I know
Baja.
I know Baja because I thought it was weird. And I know his name's Jack Tyler. Jake Tyler.
Yep.
I know him. Yeah. And then I have Villain. I have and then I have a guy that looks like little kid from Iron Man 3. His friend that has the camcorder the entire time.
He does not look like...
He reminded me of the kid from Iron Man 3.
No, not at all.
He looks like... So, spoilers for Endgame. He looks like the older version of him in Endgame when they're in the funeral scene. When he's just standing there and they're like, who the fuck is that kid? He has the long hair.
That kid looks like the guy from Percy Jackson.
Logan Lerman?
Yeah.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
No.
100%.
Found out as Evan Peter, who is Quicksilver in the X-Men movies.
Really?
But he has long hair in this, and it threw me off because he does not look like he does in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was in 2008 as well.
Yep.
Because Amber Heard looks super young in this.
Who's that?
Baja.
Okay.
She looks really young.
Yeah.
But she's only 33. I looked it up last night.
Really?
So she was...
22?
Yeah, she was 22. Or probably
21,
20 when they filmed it.
Yeah. Interesting. That's what's up.
But I watched Never Back Down, the 2008 first one, I guess, because there's a trilogy.
Yep.
Were they all theatrically released?
No,
it sounds like a straight to DVD type thing.
No, dude.
It sounds like straight to DVD. But I watched it for the first time.
Kevin, look it up. We don't have a Kevin.
We had one.
We did, though. But for anybody listening, if you listen on YouTube, you can also find our audios on the podcast services around the globe. If you listen on the podcast, you can find us on YouTube and subscribe. What are your initial thoughts of it? I want a ranking. Give me 8 out of 10.
I don't like that. I'll give it a... I have a 3-point scale. I have good. I have a thumbs up, middle, thumbs down. I'll give it a
Really?
It's an eh. So this movie is basically Karate Kid meets the villain's Goku, who just wants to fight people. That's what I got halfway through the movie. I'm like, he just wants to fight. He's just fucking Goku. It pissed me off. But it is basically Karate Kid.
You want to be the best, you got to take out the best.
And it reminded me, it had a Tokyo Drift vibe to it. At the beginning, where he's out of school, then he gets kicked out. He goes to a different school.
But he doesn't get kicked out of school.
Well, he doesn't, because his brother's a genius tennis star.
I wouldn't ever call a tennis star a genius.
No, at the beginning when they're in the garage and he's like listing off numbers and he was like, "This is how far away." I'm like, "Is this motherfucker a genius?"
Okay. Genius, comma. I thought you meant like you were describing his tennis ability as genius.
No, he's a genius /
that makes
tennis
more
star.
Sense now. Okay.
Because he was just rattling off numbers. I'm like, are they moving because he's smart? And then there was like, you're going to Wimbledon. I'm like, he plays tennis too? I'm like, he has all the traits. And this motherfucker, his brother just gets in trouble the entire movie.
Something in my eye. Well, that's understandable. He killed his father. Kind of.
That's another thing. Like, we'll get there. But I have issues with his mom. She's a bitch.
I can't stand the mom, dude.
And like, I was more fascinated with the side characters than I was Jake. I was more fascinated with his little brother. His little brother's a gangster. Loved the scene with the wrestling thing. Hilarious.
Oh, we'll get to that as well.
Loved it. But anyway, so let's just dive into this. So it starts out. So when you watched it, did it have like the opening logos and stuff?
Yeah.
So did yours have the logo with like a force and then a tiger?
Yeah.
I thought that was the start of the movie. I was like, why is there a tiger at the beginning of this movie? And then it fades to black with the tiger's face, and it's just a logo. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a logo. But I'm like, that's a weird transition, because it had like the forest in black and white, and it took up the entire picture. I was like, oh, so we're starting in this forest. So I thought that was a weird like logo transition. Well, but I got excited because there was a tiger, but there was no tiger. But anyway, so it starts with them playing football, and he's Bobby Boucher. He is the water boy, and he is kicking everybody's ass.
Oh, it's hilarious, really great.
Everybody's getting mad.
It's like a scoreboard.
Everybody he's tackling is mad at him, and I don't understand why. Because they're playing football. Why are they mad at this guy? Because every time he tackled somebody, they got up and pushed him.
I think it was mainly the same person though.
I got the feeling they were friends at first. Because like they were smiling and he pushed him and then he tackled him again and he was smiling. So I'm like, oh, they're friends. They're just competing. And then he got up and he said some shit about his dad and then they started fighting. I'm like, what the? I'm not understanding the vibe of this movie.
It was very weird at the beginning, but I feel like he was tackling the same person over and over again. And he was probably frustrated that he's getting popped.
Maybe. They said he had like 14 tackles.
Yeah.
He was number 44.
And then it showed us 7 more tackles.
So I remember his number, but I can't remember anybody's name.
Yeah.
But so they basically have Waterboy.
Mm-hmm.
I called him Bobby Boucher at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why are they mad at him? Because he's good, I guess?
Yeah, they're haters.
And then they start fighting because the guy says something about his dad, who we get like a flashback that he died.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know how yet. But they're fighting. Then it cuts to them in the locker room, and Jake is sitting there. And this is where we find out he's moving to Orlando.
Yes.
Yes. So they're moving to Orlando. He had a conversation with one of his friends.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. He was like, "Stay out of trouble." He was like,
"Who's going to keep you out of trouble?" He's like, "Who's going to get you into trouble?"
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yep.
But then it cuts to him, and
I wish their friend would have shown up at the end of the movie or some shit, like to watch the fight or something, just something like, "Oh, I'm here to visit
in Orlando.
you."
They're 1,082 miles away, or whatever the fuck his brother said.
It was like 1,342 or something.
But anyway, then it cuts to him, and he's at home, and his little brother's there, his mom's there, and his mom's mad because Jake has a cut on his eye, and he's like, well, it's a contact sport, it's football. And she was like, you're always fighting, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, well, I need you guys to pack the garage in the morning when you wake up. Help your brother or some shit. And then the little brother says, I can do it myself. I don't need no help. And then
I'm like, bet, because I'm not helping.
Then it cuts to Jake. He's packing up the garage, and his little brother's like laying in the driveway. Mm-hmm. And he's just spouting off numbers.
He was sitting on the box, I think.
Yeah, and then he lays down when he looks up at the sky, and he's like, we're moving 1,300 miles or whatever. And he's spouting off numbers, and I'm like, this little kid is fucking smart. And then they talk about Wimbledon, and I'm like, oh, he's a tennis star.
And then he's like, do you hate me?
Yeah, because they're moving because of him.
Maybe, motherfucker.
And then it cuts to them in Orlando, and he's walking around the new school, I think. Oh, they're driving.
Yeah, that goes to them driving.
And
nothing fun happens.
Yeah. They're driving. Then they get to the new school. He's walking around. And I was like, well, that was weird.
Fuck is falling.
Anyway, so at this point, when he's walking around the new school, I was like, I'm getting Tokyo Drift vibes right now.
Tokyo Drift's a terrible ass movie.
Like I said, I'm getting Tokyo Drift vibes. That's what I said. But he's walking around the school, and he's walking in the bleachers or somewhere, and he sees a fight happening underneath the bleachers or somewhere. I don't even know. And he sees it, and then the Evan Peters, Max. Is that his name? Max?
Fuck is Evan Peters?
He's the Quicksilver guy. He's the Iron Man 3 kid.
Oh, yes, Max.
Okay,
I know what you're talking about now. So
Iron Man 3 kid's name is Ty Simpkins, by the way. I know what his name is.
He took his lunch to the bleachers. He was walking back, I don't know if it was to class or wherever, and he walked by an alley. Bro, there goes in my house. But he walked by an alley, and Max was getting himself fucked up. He was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
he tries to break it up.
And then they start punching him.
The black guy struggled him, like, why are you in the fight? So he struggled him. He dodged it and then gave a right hook real quick.
And then Max punches
hit him back. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, they just start beating up Tyler, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, he's supposed to be fighting, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, is this a gang initiation? What is going on right now?
It was sketchy. Like,
and they don't address it or anything. And
at that point, you feel like Max and them are, like, in the same squad, though. Like, you feel like Max is already a part of them. But, like, he hung out with them, like, once. It was very weird.
Yeah. And then
I felt like
the ending's very weird, too.
Yeah.
When he gets into the car. Why? It's obviously a trap.
Oh, yeah,
obviously a trap. But anyway, so then he stops. He tries to have a fight. And they get mad at Jake. So Jake leaves, and then it cuts to him in class, and they're talking about Achilles. What are you looking at?
These expire May 2019.
Okay, it's May 5th, 16th.
It just says 2019. I just thought it was weird.
Swallow. Anyway, so they're in class. They're talking about Achilles, and the teacher's asking if anybody knows. He calls on Amber Heard's character Baja, and she was like, "I didn't read the poem or whatever." He asked, and then Jake starts spewing the facts like he's some smarty pants.
Yeah, there's no he knew that.
Yeah, I agree. His little brother's the genius, not him. But anyway, so he walks out of class, and Baja catches up to him, and she was like, Achilles' shield or something. I forget what the fuck they said.
That's what she said. Or
But they're talking, and there's obviously, he has a crush on her. She has a crush on him. They think each other's cute. And then she walks away, and he was
then
like...
they bang.
He was like, hey, can you help me find 3F or some shit? And she was like, that's a B. He was like, oh, I can't read.
That's not what he said.
That's basically what happened. He was like, you can read that.
She's like, oh, your handwriting's bad. He was like, you ain't got no problems reading it.
But, so she walks off, and she's with her friend. A dude and girl walk up, and they take her away. And then...
They're making fun of him.
And then
the guy's gay.
The guy's friend's gay, and he's like, ooh, cutie or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're walking away, and then Amber Heard's character looks back at him, and then they lock eyes, and she's walking.
It would have been not funny, but like it would have been a turn if she just got hit by a car.
I mean, I guess.
I'm saying.
It was his dad that was driving the car.
Boom.
Back. But anyway, so then it cuts to them at dinner, and the mom and little brother are at dinner. They're eating takeout, and then they ask Jake if he wants. He's like watching film or some shit, taking notes on something. I couldn't tell what he was
Achilles, bitch.
I don't. Probably. He's like, this is the one thing I know.
Mythology.
He's watching Hercules. But anyway, so then they're eating. They're like, come eat. And he's like, I don't want to eat takeout. I'm tired of eating out of boxes and living out of boxes. And all kinds of. Then he gets really mad. Then
she was like, clean or unpack your boxes.
You
dude.
won't be in a box no more. So then they start arguing, and then you get the sense that obviously they don't like each other. They're just living together. So they're really mean to each other the entire movie. It's stupid.
Is it? Because the mom probably blames him for the dad.
Oh, we'll
dying.
get there. We will get there. But anyway, they're arguing. Then he cuts to him in his room, and he's not dealing with the move very well. He doesn't like it. Then I think it cuts to them. They're in lunch, and Jake is sitting down, just minding business, eating his lunch, being the new kid.
Max
eating
comes out, smack him
fucking
in the
Max
face.
comes up like they're bros.
Man.
And I'm trying to say, reminds me of a dude from Iron Man 3. So they're talking, and Max is trying to get him to fight because he's seen the video of him.
Iowa.
And
Iowa.
So did they have multiple videos, or was it just the video of him fighting on the football field? Because I couldn't really
Pretty
tell.
sure it was just one, but he fucked up like 5 people. So
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
Was, like,
the way they were talking, like he was like a fighting addict, which the movie makes it seem like, because the motherfucker's just looking for a fight the entire movie. Anywhere he goes, he's Goku. Him and the villain are both Goku. They're just
not really.
They're trying to fight.
I don't feel like he's looking for a fight.
He has anger issues.
He has anger issues. The villain guy.
He's looking for a
his
fight.
name is Ryan. He's just trying to fight people.
Yeah.
He was like, "You want to be the best? You gotta take him out." All right, so calm down, buddy.
Yeah. But so
go ahead and power up.
So Jake has a trigger word that anytime says "dad," he has to fight that person. It's like the raptor in Jurassic World: Lost Kingdom, where it has the laser, but his laser's dad. Anybody that says "dad," he has to go after, no matter what. If they say "dad," he's dagging them, and it's weird. Like, show some self-restraint, bro, dude. Like, what are you doing?
I understand 100%.
I mean, I get it, but then I don't. Like,
I mean, obviously,
your mom hates you because you're fighting, and you also killed your dad. Like, calm down. And then you told Guy that you wouldn't fight, and then you fight. Like, you're just a fucking liar now. Like,
no, he wasn't going to. He was like, "Hey, bro, I know about your dad." Oh, hell no.
What are you doing? But anyway, so then he tells Max he doesn't want to fight or something, and then Jake is leaving. And he's walking, and a car pulls up beside him. And they're asking
first, like, who the fuck are you?
Who is this guy? And they're like, "You want to ride?" And he's like, "No, I don't fucking know you." And then it pulls up like 2 feet, and we see Amber Heard's character's leaning out the window, who he definitely would have seen when he answered the guy in the driver's seat. So
maybe she's roll down her window.
I mean, I guess. I
guess she's poor, which I didn't catch that like the first 4 times I've seen the movie.
I think they were just making fun of her because she didn't have a car.
poorer to their standard. Not
well,
like
I mean,
poor.
they're billionaires in this house. He
Yeah.
was like, "Does everybody have a house?" Like, "Where's our guest house?" You fucking pretentious asshole. I don't give a fuck.
That shit was funny. I was cracking up.
Fuck you. But anyway, she was like, "Hey, there's a party tonight. Do you want to go?" And he said, "Well, are you going to be there?" And then the asshole driver's like, "Well, she just asked you to a party she's not going to go to."
He had a point though. Like,
Wait, it was flirting. Like, I'm only going if you're going to go. Like, am I going to see you there? Because I'm not going if I'm not going to see you.
I'm like, free party.
Which, she has a boyfriend, which we don't know at this point.
He made her set it up.
Well, I know, because I don't understand that part either. But anyway,
He was like, "Oh,
so is
he
that
likes you. Go set it up."
so is that why she already had the address written on this piece of paper? Because I was confused by that too. So I'm like, so she just has this address written down just in case she sees Jake, or so she went out of her way to find this guy.
We're out of the way.
Okay, that clarifies a little bit.
Yep.
So she did that for Ryan.
Yep. Ryan wanted her to do it.
And
she thought
I
they
did
were
not
just-
catch that.
She thought that they were just going to spar a little bit, and that Jake would kind of be into it, from what I gathered. And then when she walks out, when he starts kicking his ass like really bad, she like leaves the party.
I didn't gather that.
Yeah.
I gathered that she wanted him there because she wanted to bone.
Nope.
And she just had this address written down
Well, it's probably a little bit of
for
both.
convenience. Well, I mean, she obviously has a crush on him too.
Yeah.
And she's in an unhappy relationship that she doesn't want to leave because movies.
Which may or may not be abusive. We don't know yet.
Yeah. So we'll get there. But anyway, so gets the little piece of paper. So then it cuts to him at his house, and he's getting ready. And his little brother's at the house, and he lost to a little kid younger than him.
6-3.
Yeah. And the little kid was 9. He was like, "Oh, he was so good. He was so young to me, though." So he's having a hard time.
And then this was the mom's response. It kind of like low-key pissed me off. She was like, "Oh, you just have to get used to it out here." No, bitch.
The competition's different.
It's tennis, though.
No, but
Come
you
on.
play down to your competition.
Nah, fuck. You obviously didn't because you got smacked.
Well, because he's used to playing in wherever the fuck. They didn't say where they were at the beginning, did they?
Iowa.
But
I don't
like
know
what
where.
city?
I know.
I'm gonna say Des Moines because that's the biggest city in Iowa. They're in Des Moines, Iowa,
I
right?
highly doubt it was Des Moines.
Maybe. We don't know. But anyway, he's in there in the biggest city in Iowa, right? And he's playing some kids who they're in the Midwest. They don't play tennis.
Why not?
They play.
He plays tennis.
That's why he's the best, because he's the only one. So he's playing down to his competition. He's like,
I
"Oh,
guess.
I'm gonna have an easy competition." And then this 9-year-old who's been playing tennis at country clubs in his entire life.
You're
He's
going to be
good.
the best, you got to take out the best.
He's Roger Federer, and then this little kid's like, "Fuck, I need to step my game up. I thought I was just gonna walk in here."
No, it pissed me off.
And then he got into a fight with the ball later in the movie because he thought it was cool.
Fucking lost.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Jake walking into the party, and Max runs up to him, and they dap each other up like they've known each other for their entire lives, like they were best buds. And
It was Max.
it was
doing
Max,
that.
but Max was
And
like,
then-
"What's up, guy?"
And then Jake was just like, "This is a huge ass house. I'm just excited to be here. Fuck this."
So they're walking in the party, and they're walking around, and then they see the villain, who is
Before they see the villain, he's recording his.
Oh yeah, he
records two girls,
the two girls
naked
making
girls
out.
making out in a hot tub, and they get pissed. And it's like,
Was this
fuck
a rated R movie? Because they showed boobs.
Well,
Because I was wondering that. But anyway, so he's recording them, and then like pervert, and he was like, "I'm gonna get so many views on my YouTube channel," which I don't know. I don't know if you show that on YouTube. Whatever.
he'd be able to show part of it as long as you don't see the nip.
I mean, I guess they were covered in bubbles too. But anyway, so they're walking around. They see what's his name, the bad guy, Tyler.
Ryan.
No, Ryan. They see Ryan, and Ryan's like walking around the house, and he was like, "Yeah, the parties are cool. You get used to it. The girls in bikinis." But the real fun is down there in the bottom yard or whatever.
It's unrated. Well, an unrated version called.
Well, the unrated version would be the
Extended Beatdown Edition. I need to watch that. Featuring nudity and more blood. So this might have been.
That was the one you watched. The
unrated
unrated version is
version.
usually the DVD version or Blu-ray.
That's probably what we watched. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know what the theatrical release. Look for the poster, and it'll be on the poster. But anyway, so it cuts to.
I don't see it on the poster. This poster is also very blurry, so I'll find another poster.
But anyway, so it cuts to them on the beach. I think was it the beach or was it just the ground of them fighting, like the circle. When he was like the real fun's down there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that was the beach.
Okay, I thought it was the beach too.
But
But there's two dudes down there fighting, and Then, damn, I can't remember his fucking name. Ryan?
Yeah.
Man, I'm horrible. Ryan says, well, I want to fight you. Jake doesn't want to fight. And then Ryan takes off his shirt. And I'm like, you have exceptional muscle tone, young man. I'm like, what?
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm like, what grade are you in? And then,
They're all PG-13.
okay, thank you. But
They're
like,
all definitely not in fucking high school.
and it doesn't make sense because he was like, I've won the beatdown the last 2 years. I'm like, if you're a senior, that would make you a 10th grader, which would make you like 15, and you're fighting in the beatdown winning.
That's how good he is.
No, he's not beating up
He
another
was
agent.
fucking all them up.
Well, it's because they said he's been in kung fu since he was like 5. But
All right,
but if you're 15, you don't have like the muscle tone to fight an 18-year-old.
Hey, Brian could take you, bro.
He could take you, and he outrun you. But anyway, so they're trying to fight. Jake's not having any of it. Jake tries to leave, and
He does
then
not
Ryan says some
want
shit
to do
about
it
his
at
father, and that pisses him off. So he takes off his shirt. Then they start fighting. Ryan fucks him up really bad.
Then he gets up, and then he fucks him up again.
Yeah, he just
then he gets
fuck
back
him
up,
because
and he fucks him up again.
Because Jake is a boxer. Jake only knows boxing. He doesn't use legs. He doesn't use takedowns. He just boxes.
Doesn't breathe.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to breathe when he's fighting. It wears you out. Wins you. So anyway, Jake gets fucked up. Max takes him to his house.
I assume
Yeah,
so.
it was unclear.
No,
Because I thought they were taking him to the hospital at first. But then it
Yeah.
cuts to a room. And I was like, is he
How
just
do you know
walking
where
in
he
his...
lives?
Yeah, is he just walking into his house? So then I thought it
well,
was...
you hear keys.
Yeah, I mean, he
When
could
it's
be
like
unlocking
doing
his
all the
keys.
transitions,
But then
you
I was
hear
like,
the
well, maybe
keys.
Max took him to his house. But then the next scene, it wakes him up in his bed, which is
Yeah.
his house, because little brother walks in. I'm like, this is just a weird transition.
Yep.
So anyway, when they were fighting, they were all talking about, oh, you like to fight, and I was like, this motherfucker's been in one fight. Why
Like,
do
you don't
they-
even know my life,
Yeah,
bro.
why do they think he's a fighter? And then DJ Yella was there from Straight Outta Compton, the dude that played DJ Yella, the guy with the cornrows, little short guy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool.
Also, how did Ryan know that the dad thing would trigger him?
He probably watched the video.
But you would not be able to hear whatever they said.
Maybe he talked to the guy you fucked up. I don't know. He's Goku. He just learned some shit.
Maybe there is more than one video. I don't know. Well, I guess it might show him like, hey, he got kicked out of school 8 times or however many it was.
I'm pretty sure there was probably a thing in the paper too about him being with his father, or about his
Yeah.
father dying.
Well, I knew that.
Because
but I
he's
was
a
like,
football star.
How would you know that would trigger him though and get him to fight?
I mean, if you say something about somebody's dad, it's probably going to trigger something. And they already seen that he's on roid rage. So
They didn't know that. Continue.
I mean, he just fucked up a football team in the
you
first
don't
scene
know
of the movie.
why.
I mean, regardless, you're fighting a football team. You obviously have some type of anger issue.
No, this is fighting
He's
the
like
fights.
a-
That's how
Fuck
Ryan is on the football field. Halfway through, he's like, all right, guys, we're about to start kickboxing.
So then it cuts to him waking up, or his little brother barges into the room and is like, do you want some breakfast? And Jake raises up and he's all fucked up on the side. He was like, oh shit.
He's like, how's the other guy?
He was like, he was better, or he was worse before the fight started. I'm like, all right, at least you admitted you got your ass beat.
Man, I got fucked up.
And then he was like, you can find your way to the bus. He was like, the big yellow thing. He was like, good man, or a good boy, or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he skips school, and it cuts to his little brother's at home making him a pizza, and he puts the pizza in Jake's room so he can eat it when he wakes up because he's passed out, or yada yada yada. And then it cuts to Max coming over, and Max is trying to get Jake to come to the fighting club thing to train with Jean Roca.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then Max gives him a DVD with footage or some shit and an address, which is a weird way to label a DVD.
Max is weird.
He's very weird. He has a camcorder like his Chronicle, the entire movie.
YouTube views, bro.
I guess.
He's vlogging.
But so then it cuts to Jake showing up at the club fight thing the next day, and Max was like, oh my god, you're here? How did you find the address? And he was like, it was on the DVD. He was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, motherfucker, because you put it on the DVD.
You don't know if he put it on the DVD.
That you just gave to him.
You don't know if he put it on the DVD or not.
They go to the thing, and John Roca tells him that you can't fight outside of the the club thing.
Well, first he tests him.
How's he do that? Oh, another thing. This movie may as well be called Montage. Because there's about 5 montages of training in this movie. And it makes no sense. Why are there so many montages?
Where are all the montages?
There's the montage of him training now. There's the montage of him training when he's befriending the guy. Mm-hmm. There's a montage of him training right before the fight. There's a montage of his mom at one point. Or, who was it? Oh, yeah, his mom pops up in a montage, and his little brother's in the montage. It's like, there's so many, it's weird.
So. But when he gets there, he was like, you can start at the beginner level. He's like, no, I'm good for, like, the advanced shit. And he's like, no, you can start at the intermediate. And he's like, bro, just give him a shot. He's tight, is what Max says. So he's like, all right. He's like, I'm a quick learner. And then he starts doing all, like, the
climbing the quick learner thing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm climbing. He starts doing the climbing the rope. It was the cycle thing where, like, you do station
Yeah,
by
they were
station.
doing stations like we were in PE class.
And then at the end, he was like, I'll see you at 7. Oh, one more thing. Or I'll see you tomorrow at 7. One more thing. No fighting under any circumstances. And then he looks down, looks back up, and he's like, I won't fight. And he's a fucking liar. You can obviously tell.
Yeah. So what is the point of them training if they can't fight outside the gym? Like, what are they training for?
I was wondering the same thing. I have no idea.
Because I was like, well, does that mean you can't find, like, a tournament? Because what is the fucking point?
Well, he's outside the gym, so maybe, like, any gym is what he means. Like,
I mean, I guess.
If you
but I was like, so they're just training to train?
I would assume that it's fine as long as it's not, like, him kicking some 3 guys' ass outside of a Hummer.
A yellow Hummer.
Yeah.
So he's training. He's all happy. So it cuts to him at the house, and the doorbell rings. Or somebody knocks on the door or something. His little brother opens the door, and it's Baja. And the little brother's...
we switched. We forgot something.
What did we skip? I have it written down.
Oh, no, not that. But I want to cut back to where you're talking about Max showing up to his room.
Mm-hmm.
It bugged me because he came into the room and said Baja was there as well. So that's why he opened it up. Number one, he's a liar.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he's like, it's Max Cooperman or whatever. And then you don't hear any movement. He's like, and Baja Miller or whatever the last name is. And then he gets up. He's like, ha, I don't have her.
Why did it piss you off?
No, that doesn't piss me off. It's just that scene. Well, he's just a liar, number one. Number two, he walks in, he's like, whoa, way to commit to the move. Bitch, you've been here before. You dropped him off at his house 2 days ago.
But he was saying because he hasn't unpacked anything yet.
I know, but you saw his room. You knew what to expect. It's not like it's the first time you've seen this room.
But he he was like, oh, I figured you would have unpacked by now. Way to commit. Because you're not committed to staying there. Well, it was
1 day.
Is what he was saying.
It was only 1 day. He got knocked out. How's he going to unpack if he can't fucking see out one eye?
I don't know.
I'm saying it pissed me off.
I didn't think too hard into that. I didn't even know that's where he dropped them off at. I was still under the impression they were at Max's house.
I don't think so.
But anyway, so Baja shows up at their house. Mm-hmm. And the little brother opens the door. He says, wow. I'm like, I feel you, little kid. I feel funny. It. So he says, wow. And then Baja's like, I'm sorry. And the little brother walks away. He was like, anything she did except the apology. I'm like, all right. I was like, I want more about that. I want more of this little kid. Fuck Jake. But anyway, so she apologizes and he was
65-inch Samsung Curve 486.
Is it age? That's too, no. It's too small. Ask him if he has a 75.
No, that's the biggest.
But anyway, so she was like, I'm sorry. He was like, you set me up. She said, I know, but Ryan wanted me to. I didn't know it was going to escalate that. I thought you would like it too, because are you so different? You're not. You're a fighter. You want to fight. And then.
But you don't know me.
And then she was like, she starts crying, and she was like, I have a hard life too. I met Ryan, and it's just so easy now. He was like, it's so hard being popular or something. Yeah. And she was like, it's my cue to go, and she leaves. I was like, this is weird. This
could have been cut out. Yeah. Why was this
in the movie? A weird scene. It's just so that they can make up later in the movie at the beach 100%. Club. So I'm like, at this point in the movie, I could give 2 fucks about Jake right now. Where's the little brother at? I want a tennis movie. Fuck this guy.
I don't want a damn tennis movie.
I want a tennis movie. Little brother's a gangster. And then so it's a montage of him training. Oh, here it is. It's a montage of Jake training, their brother playing tennis, his mom not being happy, and neither is Baja with the villain. is what I have written down.
Okay.
Because like the villain has his arm around Baja, and she's like looking to the side, like, oh, why am I here? Which just get out of the fucking relationship. And then there's a scene of Jake giving John $200 to pay for like this month and next month's training.
That's a lot of money.
And then it cuts to Jake being at home and his mom asking what the $200 taken out of his accounts for. And he was like, it's my money, the fuck you need to know for. Basically. And I'm like, how much money does he have?
I was like, is he rich?
Is he rich?
Man.
Is it an inheritance? Like, why is he still living here if he has money? Like, what's going on?
Well, he's not 18.
We don't know that.
I'm 90%.
The muscle tone these motherfuckers have, I wouldn't be surprised if they were seniors in colleges.
That'd be a twist if it was all of it was college.
Would not surprise me one bit. They're drinking a lot in this movie. Like, no. Motherfucker tried to beat up his dad. He like got smart with his dad. Like, the fuck is going on?
His dad basically said, challenge me too.
Yeah.
He was like, you want to be the best? You got to take out the best. And
He's
slapped
like,
him.
he backed down. So then his mom's like, what's in your bag, Jake? What's in your bag? And he plops it on the bed. She opens it, and it's the gloves or some shit. And she was like, you've been fighting? And I was like, he hasn't really, though. He's just been training. He hasn't really fought nobody. He did get his ass beat the one time, but he didn't want to fight. So well, I mean, he did, but he's only been in one fight, and she made it seem like he's just fighting every day. He's training.
They've been there a week.
In one fight, that's not bad for him. The way the movie sounds is like he's getting in fights every like half hour or some shit. I'm like, he hasn't really been fighting though, so she's mad for no fucking reason. Yeah. She's just mad because he's working out. Like, you're just mad to be mad at this point. Yeah. So then I hate the mom at this point. I'm like, fuck you. I don't understand why you're so mad. Like, why?
Well, maybe she thinks like, oh, you're taking a fighting class now. Now you're getting more fights. You take a fight. Now you're getting 3 fights a day. Like, fucking everybody up.
If you're gonna get in a fight, you may as well train. Like, you don't want to lose. You see what happened last time? He had no training. Motherfucker almost died. There's another. Oh, now there's a montage of the trainer training, and he's doing like stunts on the bag and stuff. And I'm like, I've never seen them practice on the bag like that. I was like, I appreciate this montage because this is pretty cool. He's like doing submissives and shit on the bag. I'm like,
flipping around.
Yeah, I was like, this is dope because I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is one montage I'll allow. The other 7, just way too much.
Now it's 7. It was 5 4 minutes ago.
The movie just keeps adding them in. Like,
yeah, all right.
I felt like they were editing it while I was watching it.
Okay.
But so I thought that was pretty cool of him doing the bag submission and stuff. And they're really fast when they do their transitions. I'm like, I don't know if this is sped up or if he's just really that fast.
He's probably really that fast. He feels like he's low-key a fighter, like in real life.
It's the guy from a bunch of movies, or like yeah. Guardians. He was in Shazam. He was in Serenity, which is a horrible fucking movie. I don't know what that is.
We'll watch it next week.
I've seen it a bunch of times. Where am I at? Punch a bag like that. What you want to write about? Oh, it cuts to them in class. And they're in pairs for a writing subject or some shit, and they're in groups of 3.
And they put Baja.
And it's Baja, Jake, and some fucking dweeb. And the dweeb was like, what do you guys want to write about? And she says a word, I don't remember. And then Jake's like, let's write about betrayal. Then Baja was like, let's write about kindness or some shit. She didn't say kindness, but it was something to counteract his betrayal comment. Yeah. So they just keep going back and forth. And then Jake ends up leaving. And
Jake is like, that's not a word.
Yeah, I did. I meant to rewind it to see what the fuck she said.
Thought it was funny. I don't remember what word it was either.
And then Jake leaves the classroom, and then the dweeb guy is like, well, let's write about this word. And I'm like, fuck you. Obviously, they don't give a fuck about you right now. They're having their own...
Not right about shit, dude.
They're worried about their own interpersonal conflict at this moment. They give 2 fucks about this thing. So then it cuts to Ryan outside his car with his friends, and Baja walks out there, and she was like, we need to talk. And Ryan's like, well, we could talk right here in front of my guys, like he's Vin Diesel. And, I'm telling you, this is Tokyo Drift. I'm telling you.
Vin Diesel's not even really in
This
Tokyo
is Brazil. Vin Diesel is in Tokyo Drift. He's in the insane.
Not really.
He may as well have been.
Dude, not at all.
But anyway, he was like, we talk in front of my guys. She was like, are you sure you want to do this? He's like, yes, what I do, because we're all one. And she was like, it's over. He's like, the fuck you mean?
I don't want to do this running no more.
Another thing, we skipped it.
You skipped it. You don't want to tell the story.
When they're at the house at the party, when Jake first learns about them fighting, because it's cool, right before he fights Ryan, right? Mm-hmm. And Ryan's like, we have guy on guy, we have girl on girl, we have blacks on blacks, we have
brown on black.
Brown on black, because it was a black guy with like an Asian or somebody. No. But he was like, there's also the battle of the exes, and it was this girl fucking up this guy, right?
It'd be funny if at the end Baja was fucking him up.
That's what I thought of when I was like, are they gonna have to fucking fight? Because if that's how this movie ends, I'm all for it. If Brian gets his ass beat by Baja, because I'm like, that's a weird thing to put in if it doesn't like come back later in the movie. It did it, which pissed me off. I'm like, that's kind of a dumb payoff. Like, that's how I thought it was gonna end. Because I'm like, why? But anyway, so she breaks up with them. And he was like, why would you do that? And she was like, you were mean to him. You were just supposed to spar, and you ended up kicking his ass and almost killed him. He was like, I had fun, though, and I looked cool. It's not what he said, but that's basically what he said. He was like, I kicked his ass. What you want me to do? Motherfucker stepped to me.
No, he didn't.
He brought up his dad. She was like, oh, you're only happy when you're hurting people.
He grabs her. He's like,
she walks away.
I look happy?
Yeah. She walks away, and he grabs her arm. She's like, you're hurting me. He's like, am I happy now, bitch? And I was like, well, I mean, that's a good point right there. He's not happy.
That's kind of psychotic, though.
That's very psychotic. But he's Goku. He just wants to fight and fuck people up, and it makes no sense.
That's hilarious.
So she breaks up with them, and then I was like, are they gonna fight later when she grabs him? Which they don't. Very sad. So he goes to the club to blow off steam. Why does Jake go to the club and get kicked out? What happened? Club? He goes to the fighting club, and John tells him to go home because he's very angry. What happened for John to be angry?
Oh, because he was sparring with somebody, and he was going like all out. He wasn't like
sparring. I know, but why was he angry to spar so hard? Something happened before.
Oh,
and I don't remember why he was angry.
I think it was his mom.
What happened with his mom? I don't remember. Anyway, so something happens with Jake, and I can't remember. But he's really angry. He goes to the fighting club, and he's sparring. And he's going all out like he's trying to hurt this guy, which you're not supposed to do when you spar. So he's going all out. So then John's like, fuck it. You're going to spar with me, and you're going to see if you can hurt me. So then...
He doesn't.
He doesn't. And then John's like hitting him in the head and shit. And he was like, you're angry. Go home. And I appreciated this from John. Because... he could have kicked him out and told him not to come back because he has anger issues. But he was like, no, come back tomorrow. And then Jake was like, well, at least I have a home to go to.
Oh, that's so unnecessary.
So unnecessary. Then I thought John was going to be like, fuck you, never come back. He was like, no, you're angry, come back tomorrow. I was like, I appreciate that.
No, it would have been funnier if he got anger issues too. About his home.
Fuck him out.
He just want to fuck him
That's his trigger word? Motherfucker don't go no home.
What, bitch?
But I appreciated that he didn't tell him to never come back.
Yeah.
And that he was just like, you're angry, it happens, come back tomorrow. So I appreciated that. I wish I could remember what the fuck happened. So then he's in the car with Max, and they're at a stoplight, and then these fucking douches behind him just start honking.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Why? Why are they honking? They're like revving their engines, and then Jake's having PTSD flashbacks of him and his dad dying. And he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck these guys up. So he gets out the car, and the guy gets out the Hummer, and he's like, you got a problem, man? And then like 4 guys get out of the Hummer, the back seats, and I'm like, they're rolling deep.
Max always ready with the camera though.
Oh yeah, always ready.
Always.
So then he was
like, Max, you could have jumped the fuck in, but
Oh yeah, he was like, oh, watch him while he's taking on 5 dudes. So Jake fucks up these 5 guys.
It's 3.
Whatever. They made it seem like a lot more. Anyway, they're fighting, and then they get in, and then you know what happens? The next scene, a Chameleonaire song starts. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest movie of all time. The Chameleonaire song starts. Rockstar. Did you notice this? This is why you like this movie. No. You're an undercover Chameleonaire fan.
Yeah, no.
But
hard pass.
No. This is my favorite moment of this movie, actually.
Definitely.
They're at the beach club. Yeah, they're at the beach club when this song starts playing. And
the fuck is a beach club?
Where they're at the like a cafe on the beach or some shit.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And like Ryan's there with his friends. Jake's there.
He sees Baja, doesn't he?
Yeah, Baja walks up
Like
in
you're a
her
rock star
bikini. And
I don't think that was
Max
like
is
a
there
club.
telling. Max is
It
telling.
might have been like a pier or something.
Was like they're rich people. I assume it's a beach club. I don't fucking know. They're all hanging out together. Like I'm not sure they're gonna be at a fucking cafe there at some beach high resort fucking country club thing on the beach. But anyway, Max is there hitting on these girls, talking about how he trains Jake because his video of him
Jake's
fighting.
like, yeah, I'm his trainer.
I'm his trainer.
No, you're not at all. He'll fuck you up.
So he's in on there. Jake's just laughing in the background. Baja walks up and they have an interaction. Jake's still pissed. I forget what happened. But Ryan sees Jake talking to Baja, and one of Ryan's friends is like, oh, he has a new groupie. So, which is a fucked up thing to say to your friend who just broke up with his girlfriend. But
they're not really friends. I think they're just scared of him.
Probably. I mean, he's a fucking villain. Maybe he's vampire. Maybe. But anyway,
that'd be a twist right there.
He just starts flying at the end, sprouts wings. But anyway, Jake goes to the bathroom, and then Ryan walks in, and Ryan throws him on the ground and steps on his chest or throat or some shit, and doesn't let him up. But I'm like,
that's gross, bro. Get off of me.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jake is kind of strong. Like he can definitely move that leg. Like how strong is his leg compared to the entire body of Jake? Like
I think Jake's scared at this point.
Well, he's definitely probably until he says dad, then he goes in fucking roid rage.
Because then like he tries to move his leg or something, he just gets kicked in the face. Like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
but there's no spectators, so he's gonna let him up.
Oh yeah,
see him at the beatdown.
And then this is the part where I got Karate Kid vibes. So the bully, the villain. Ryan. Damn, I'm horrible with names. But anyway, so he has his foot on Jake's throat, and he was like, "There's a tournament coming up. I've won it the past 2 years." I'm like, "This is a fucking Karate Kid. They're gonna fight in the tournament." Now I know how it's gonna go down. Because at first I didn't know there's a tournament, so I was like, they're just gonna fight and duel it out at the end. But now there's a tournament because, of course, there's Karate Kid ripoff.
But it's better than Karate Kid.
Then it cuts to Jake asking Max about what the beatdown is, and Max goes into the history where
Max was super hype.
It's a tournament that happens once a year, and you find out the night before some shit where it's at if you're invited. Yada yada yada. You get a text message, some shit. And then Jake is at the fighting club, and John kicks him out because he found out about the Hummer fight. He was like, "You're fighting."
Let me see your hands.
Oh, yeah, because they put it on the gloves, and he gets really mad.
Yep.
And he sees all the cuts and shit. So he kicks him out, tells him not to come back. And then it cuts to them at a dinner scene with Jake and his family, right? And it's his mom, little brother has a black eye. And the little brother, at this point, we're made to believe he got into a fight. And Jake walks in, and he was like, "Oh, what happened to you? They got into a fight." And he was like, "How's the other guy?" Or they have that interaction. I don't remember what the little brother answered. And then the mom's pissed off. And she's like, "Is this the example you want to set for your little brother, getting into fights, being angry all the time? Yada, yada, yada." And then Jake and his little brother leave the room. I don't remember why.
No, it was just the little brother.
No, because his little brother, and then Jake was behind him. And then the little brother turned around and was like, "I got hit with the ball, Mom." It wasn't.
He's probably just going to the gym.
But he was like, "I got hit with the ball."
It would sound cooler if I got in a fight or something.
And then the mom looked at Jake and was like, "So yeah, you're still telling me you don't need to set an example?" And Jake's like, "Oh shit, I need to change my ways because I'm a bad role model for my little brother."
No, really, it's not like he's getting in fights, like, bro. He's just mad that this 9-year-old's whacked him in the face with the ball.
Yeah. And then he goes to the gym. Oh, so then it goes to Max and Jake sitting in the car outside of the gym, right? And they're waiting for John to leave. And they were like, he has to leave sometime, even though he lives there. They're like, he has to leave. And at this point, I'm thinking they're going to break in and work out. And I'm like, why don't you just work out somewhere else, dude? Like, why? Why are you going to break in to this martial artist's gym?
In that same scene, they say that they're trying to talk to him.
I didn't hear that.
It's like, you're not allowed in there, so you can't go talk to him. We got to wait till he leaves.
I didn't hear
or
that.
Something like that. I'm like 90% sure that's what he said.
I don't remember that.
So you're like, they're about to break in? No!
I was like, why are you breaking? I was like, go work out somewhere else, dude. Like, there's weights or some shit. There's ropes or somewhere. You can find somewhere to work out. Yeah. So then John leaves, And I'm like, oh shit, they're really about to do this. And it cuts to John in the grocery store. I'm like, why the fuck are we in a grocery store?
They go attack him.
And then you just see like Jake walking through the aisles. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then Jake walks up to him and he's talking. I'm like, okay, so he just want to talk. It wasn't made very clear to me. Maybe I just missed that part. But he's talking about his dad. And he's like, I'm always angry except when I'm in the gym. And I'm like, well, that's not true because you got kicked out one day for being angry in the gym. So obviously you're lying again.
No, that made him feel better though. He was
still angry.
Nah,
he's lying.
He didn't lie.
He's a liar.
It was lying.
But John, he was like, my dad died, my mom blames me, yada yada yada.
I'll see you at 6 tomorrow.
But he kicked out because he blah blah blah. Oh, there's another montage of him training at this point. Oh, this is when they're training. When it's the montage of when he's cool and they're running, and then we get the backstory on John and his his brother who got shot because he beat up some guy. They were professional fighters. Some guy thought he could beat up John's brother. John fucked him up. 10 minutes later, dude came back, shot John's brother in the head. John's dad blames John for the death of his brother.
He lost two
sons on that day, which is a fucked up thing to say to somebody. But
he had dad issues too. Well, why don't you say dad to him? What happens?
Well, I mean, he did say that, and nothing happened. He was like, "Don't cross the line," but he was calm, cool, and collected. He was like, "What would you do if you could go back and save your brother? Would you would still fight that guy to get your dad back and your brother back?" He was like, "Whoa, don't cross this line." So, but see, he's calm, cool, and collected. Jake, on the other hand, roid rage.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But montage, backstory. Oh, then it shows Jake shows up at his brother's tennis match.
Yep.
And he's losing at this point, and Jake's there, and he was like, "Hey!" He just stands up and starts yelling, which is a no-no at a tennis match. It's supposed to be quiet. But he stands up and he was like, "Hey, I thought you said you were going to Wimbledon." And then little brother
comes back and wins.
He's fucking turns into Michael Jordan, Roger Federer. Comes back and wins. He's all smiley and shit. And then he meets with Amber Heard.
Whoa, at the tennis match, him and his mom kind of
she was
have
like,
a nice interaction. They're friends now.
She was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about our family being sort of fucked up." And he was like, "No, we're not sort of fucked up. We're super fucked up.
We're majorly sort of fucked up," or something like that. Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, there's nothing more you need to do, blah, blah." I don't like their relationship. Then it cuts to Amber Heard Baja. She's at a restaurant, cafe thing, and Jake shows up. It's not fully explained how he shows up or knows she's there.
It was the country club.
Probably.
It's probably the beach club that you call it.
Probably. Yeah. That makes sense now. Because that's just where the fuck they hang out. So she's ordering.
It's just a fucking beach.
No, I don't think so. The beach is pretty big. A beach club is a small, isolated area.
Okay.
But anyway, so she orders. She's walking back. Jake's walking with her. He's like, "Oh, I thought I'd see you here."
Yeah, fucking stalker.
I forget what their interaction was. Oh, he says something. She was like, "Well, this is not a good apology. Yeah, this is not a good apology." And then he says something, and then she puts her hand on his leg / elbow, and then they kiss. And she was like,
he said apologies are good.
Yeah, she was like, "Do you need to apologize for anything else?" He was like, "I have a long list of apologies." And I'm like, "This is fucking corny." So then they just start kissing again.
It was weird. I'm like, they didn't need to be here either. Like, the fuck?
It was just a fucking love interest. Like, I felt kind of forced. Like, she fell in love. It's kind of like the Disney thing where you just fall in love with the first person you see in the movie.
She didn't. She first saw Ryan and didn't work out.
And she hated this motherfucker for years.
Exactly.
She just wanted to be popular.
Yeah. Because
the fighters in this world are the popular people.
Then she went to the other fighter that was better than
Ryan. that beat up her ex-boyfriend. You're like, so if like fucking if Floyd Mayweather comes, you're gonna go to him next? Like, the fuck is going on? You just fucking
starts dating the Hulk, and then Hulk turns into Professor Hulk's like, "Nah, we're
turning like Bruce Banner, and you can't turn back in like Infinity War." And she's like, "Well, fuck, I'm going back to Ryan, I guess."
He's stronger than you now, shit.
But then it cuts to the mom meeting with John, and John's in his locker, and his mom's it's like 10 o'clock at night, and she's fucking walking around this gym warehouse thing, And she's being kind of creepy about it, and she's like looking around corners and shit. And then John's in his locker, and he hears something, and he looks up at her, and I was like, he's about to fuck her up. He's gonna
Intruder alert.
Yeah, he's about to kill her. He's like, who the fuck are you? And she was like, I'm Jake's mom. I heard he's been coming here.
I don't want him to fight, but here she
Yeah,
played on. She had a check already, but she hates it.
It was weird.
And then
I
was
think
like, Jake's a good kid. And he was like, yeah,
he has
I want him
anger
to fight.
issues. But
And then he was like, he leaves a lot less angry than when he
comes in. And then she gives him the check or whatever. And she was like, just make sure my son doesn't lose any teeth. My insurance doesn't kick in for 6 months. And he gives her a mouth guard. He was like, here's my insurance.
I've never seen any of them wear a fucking mouth guard.
Yeah, they didn't. And he was like, well, here's my insurance policy. And
she used to have a whole box. I guess you're a gym.
Yeah, he has a whole box of them. But she was like,
sick.
I think my son blames me for the death of his father. And he was like, well, do you? And she doesn't answer. And at this point, I'm like, she definitely does. She's a bitch. Fuck her. Because at this point, we know it's not Jake's fault. But it sort of is. But you can't blame him because he's a little kid and his dad said, give me the fucking keys. You're obviously not going to give your dad the keys. And we also don't know how old Jake was when this happened.
Could he even drive? That's what I'm saying. Like it seemed like he died a while ago, and he's only like.
But he looked the
junior,
same
senior.
because these motherfuckers. The timeline doesn't make sense. This is
low budget. It's fine.
But anyway, so the mom definitely blames Jake for the death of her husband, his /father. We assume.
100%.
I mean, he doesn't.
Like
look
she's basically like, you should go to jail.
pretty much like you're an accessory. You're an accomplice.
You murdered him.
So then it cuts to they're at lunch or some shit, and it's Amber, Baha, Jake, some chick,
Baha's friend,
and Max. Mm-hmm. They get in a text message talking about the beatdowns tomorrow.
Jake's like, nah, bro, I'm not doing it.
And then Jake's like, just go talk to her friend. He's like, fine, whatever. He sits down. He says, so you play Xbox? What?
No, he was like, the only thing better than brawling, babes. Like, no.
Oh yeah,
never seen you with the girls. Fuck you.
No, he said it was a trainer. He was flirting with those girls at the country club.
No.
But he was like, so you play Xbox? Like, that's what you start off with? And then like Baha,
then she just like polish that.
Baha and Jake are sitting right there, and I'm like, they're talking to each other, so I want to know if they heard him say this line and what their next interaction was. Like, did they laugh about this? Did they ignore it?
Like,
I want to know what happened next. Like, this is one scene I could have went on like 10 seconds longer. I want to know what happens. Like, what was their reaction to this Xbox line? So then it cuts to Jake and Baha in Jake's room, and she puts on the gloves and she's fighting. She's fucking with them. And they just play fighting or whatever.
I'd have fucked her up.
And then,
back up.
And then he was like, "Man, you got some pretty good stance and like jabs and shit." And she was like, "Well, I had 2 older brothers, 1 bathroom, had to work my way." So then they're fighting, and then Jake takes her down right, and he's on top of her, and he was like, are you going to tap out if it hurts too much or some shit? You tap out when you can't take the pain no more. So then she rolls her on top of him, and she was like, so are you going to tap out? And I'm like, is that a metaphor for something? Because I'm not understanding. And then he taps her ass, and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And then the little brother walks in.
What are you guys doing?
He's like, what are you doing? He's like, they get up real fast, and she was like, we're wrestling. He was like, ooh, I like wrestling. I'm like, that's fucking weird, but I love this little kid. And then, he was like, big wrestling fan, is what little brother said. I thought it was funny. Then they're at the villain's house with his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, he's working out.
and his dad walks up and was like, hey, black guy, you want to... He's not black guy, but I don't know his name.
DJ Yellow.
That guy, yeah. He was like, you want a margarita or something? Like, what? No.
And he was like, you want a beer or some shit. And he was like, we're 17, Dad. Leave me alone. He was like, leave us alone. He just yells at his dad. He's just like, you gonna step to me, bro? You gonna step to me? You gotta beat the best to beat the best.
He's basically Stewie on steroids. Like, what?
I'm just messing with you. And then, like, Ryan was super scared.
Yeah. Then he slaps him. He's like, I'm just playing. And he walks off. And then his other friend, the white guy, he's working out as well, says that Jake's not going into the beatdown.
Yep. And
then it was like, oh, why? And his DJ, whatever, was like, oh, he's probably just scared to get his ass beat. And then other guy was like, that's not the word on the street. And it was like, what is? And he starts slapping his chest. The word on
Yeah,
the
I didn't understand
street.
that. Like, why are you hitting that guy? Why are you slapping his chest like that?
Because he was about to fuck him up as a trigger. He's not the best. And then the girl was like, I bet he could beat your ass. And then she got kind of
so
scared
that was
too.
weird. Like, why did she say that? Because we've seen what happened last time. Why?
This is the word on the street now because he's been training with John Roca.
I mean, I guess. So then, the villains, they pull up in their evil. That's a bad guy car. They pull up the bad guy car, and Max is there getting in his car, and Ryan's like, "Hey, you want to come back with me and show me some shit that you've learned from John?"
They pulled up and was like, Max, master of the ground. No, bitch, you never call it up in your life.
But so then they're luring Max into the car, right? And I'm like, this is obviously a trap to fuck this guy
And
up.
John knows. He's like, Max.
So before
Max.
So when Ryan pulls up, right, this was a little after we learned about John's brother getting shot in the head. I was like, if Ryan pulls out a gun right now and shoots Max in the head to make Ryan or make Jake want to fight him, that is gonna be an insane
That's the
scene.
Most extreme circumstance ever.
Legit thought he was gonna pull out a gun and shoot Max.
What?
Legit, and I thought that's why John was there to be a witness.
Plot twist. It's John sees him shoot him, and then John goes and fucks
Fights
him
him.
up.
But
And then John kicks himself out of the gym.
But I legit thought Ryan was gonna shoot Max.
That's crazy.
But so Max gets into the car. John's yelling at him like, "Don't go, Max! It's a trap." Because John can just sense this shit because he's all powerful.
No, he looks like a bad guy.
Bad guy
He's
car.
in a bad guy car.
What movie is that from? We just watched it. He was like, "Those look like bad guys." Oh, it was Endgame with Ant-Man, and it's in Hydra in the Stark Tower, and he was
They look like bad guys.
Yeah, Tony was like, "Those are bad guys." We didn't know at the time. Ant-Man's like, "They look like bad guys." But that's what it was. But anyway, so they go back to the villain's house, and the villain just starts fighting. He's just fighting Max. I'm like, this motherfucker's Goku. He's just fighting to fight.
No. At the beginning, when they get to the house,
DJ Yellow's doing. He reminds me of Meek. DJ Yellow's like doing jump kicks and shit. It reminded me of Meek in the background doing karate chops.
Meek.
From Thor Ragnarok when he has like doing the ninja stuff. When Meek is doing the ninja stuff with Korg.
I don't remember that.
He's in the background when you first meet Meek. And Korg's like rock, paper, scissors, joke, and then Meek's doing like karate chops in the background. DJ Yellow's doing like jump kicks. I'm like, that's what it reminded me of.
And then Max is like, bro, you need to breathe. Like, people get fucked up because they can't breathe. And he's like, bro, sit down. We know how to do this.
Yeah. And then Ryan's like, no, you need to breathe. That's how people lose. You get winded. And then Ryan's like, here, let's try
Show
it out.
how pros do it.
So then Ryan just fucks Max up. He's basically dead. Like, he's
100%.
dead. So Ryan fucks him up. They then it cuts to Jake, Baja, and Jake's little brother. What is his name? Because I call him little brother the entire thing. But anyway, they're playing some poker game.
Yeah.
Where you had to like whatever card you had. If it was the best, the highest card you win.
It's going to be on ESPN later in life.
So they're playing that, and then there's a knock on the door, or the doorbell rings, some shit. Jake gets up, walks to the door, right?
What's the little brother
The little brother says, so you want to wrestle?
I was like, what?
I loved it.
I thought it was
I rewound it because I was like, he didn't say what I think he said. I rewound it like, this motherfucker's a
Yeah,
gangster.
he's funny.
I want to know what she said.
She said, no.
Reminds me of Dude, Where's My Car? I want to ride that ride, Daddy. Me too, son. Me too. So Jake walks, opens the door. He runs outside to see who knocked on the door, and he sees Max on the ground. So he runs downstairs. Baja runs out, which was weird that she ran outside the house. Like, why did she know to run outside?
Because he went outside the door and, like, took off, like.
But she didn't know that.
She probably could see, like, the door, like, nobody was there.
Oh.
And he left. It left the door open.
Maybe.
And then he was, like, she might have been able to hear him run down the fucking stairs.
Maybe. But anyway, he was like, call the cops, call the ambulance. And then they're in the hospital. And Baja's like, well, where's his family? Or does he have any family?
They're not coming.
And he was like, I called them, they didn't come. Then Jake leaves, and he was like, I'm about to go fuck Ryan up. And then she was like, well, you you either quit or you lose or some shit. And he was like, I'm not doing
She
either
said
of them.
walking away is not the same as
Quitting. He was like, well, I'm not doing either one of them. Then Jake goes home. He gets his gloves and bags and shit.
And his dad's shirt.
I was wondering what that... Okay, that makes sense. Because it said Coach Tyler. I'm like, is he a coach somewhere?
Nope. It's his dad's shirt.
Okay. That wasn't... I didn't understand that. I thought he was a...
They showed it earlier in the movie when they were in the garage and before they moved, and the little brother was like, "Oh, what's this box?" And
that was the useless stuff.
And he put the shirt up and it said Coach Tyler because it was from his dad.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So then his mom walks in and he was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. And she said, well, there's no reason to.
No, he said, I don't want to lie to you about this. She's like, I'm not gonna make you.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess that relationship's better now, I guess.
Yeah, they fucking watched the tennis match together.
Yeah.
All right. And then he goes to beat down.
Oh, this was the other thing that I was confused about at first. So he leaves the hospital and he says, let me borrow your car, and grabs the keys out, right? Mm-hmm. The next scene, he's on a bus. I'm like, why the fuck did you borrow or take the keys if you're on the bus now? I figured that out when he got there and he was opening the car. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I didn't understand that at first. Yeah. So I was like, why the fuck do you have the keys if you ride the bus? I got that now, but I didn't know that. Because I was confused. I'm like, why the fuck is he on the bus now if he needed the car?
And John Roca was pissed. And then they got in an argument again.
And was it John Roca's windshield smashed? No, okay.
I don't think John Roca has a car.
So that was Max's car then.
And I don't think it was smashed.
It looked smashed. It was raining.
I think, yeah.
It looked smashed. So I thought that was John's car, but now it makes sense that they were just showing that Max's car was there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I thought that was a weird scene. Because when John walked outside and it showed the car, I was like, oh, his windshield smashed, and they're just being assholes to John now.
No.
Okay, it makes sense now. So then he's arguing with John, and John's like, you don't need to go, you don't need to do this for revenge. And he was like, it's not for revenge. And
who's next?
And then Jake was like, well, you would go back and save your brother and fight that dude if you could. And John's like, well, don't cross the line, dude. It's not say something you're going to regret later.
I don't regret shit. I'll fuck you up.
And then Ryan's like, well, I'm doing this. John said, you can't come back.
Then he gets mad. He slams the door and they start talking again.
Yeah, I forget how the conversation ended.
The conversation ended with John Roca telling him that he owns the outcome. Or he controls the outcome. And then he's like, it's on me. He's like, always has been.
Always has been. Yeah, because that was a running thing throughout the thing. How Jake, whatever he does, it's his own responsibility for his actions. Yep. Take responsibility, guys. That was basically the theme of this movie. So he takes clone. Oh, so then it cuts to there. He gets to the beatdown, right? Yep. And he's walking in. They don't let him in. DJ yells
because obviously you don't got a spot no more. You said you weren't coming.
DJ yells like, "Nah, it's cool. Let him in because we want to fight this motherfucker." And then it cuts. They show a bunch of clips of the fighting, whatever. Eddie Gordo's there, right? And he fights Ryan.
He gets
knocked out with one punch. But he's basically Eddie Gordo. He's doing all the flips and shit, and he does like a little handstand. And he runs at him and bam, knocked out one punch. I'm like, you did a disservice to Eddie Gordo. Like, that was horrible, dude. You can't do all that shit and then get knocked out with one punch.
It's really was taunting. It was funny. Man. I thought it was great.
So then it shows.
But they trick you at the beginning because they're like,
the Tyler
McCarthy versus Taylor,
which pissed me off.
Whatever.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I'm like, just see, that would have been better because like you wouldn't have to wait for the championship, like because usually it's the championship. Usually when we know they're gonna fight. If it had been the first round this time, oh shit, we're just gonna get into it.
The first time I watched it, when well, I guess we'll get there. You can continue with the synopsis.
Anyway, so they're fighting. Then they've each won like 1 or 2 fights at this point. Jake's fighting. And he breaks his rib on his right side, right?
Might not be a break.
I think it's broken.
Maybe.
But they keep showing the Mortal Kombat.
It's really dope, like the Bliss the League type shit.
It was dope the first time, but they showed it maybe 50 times within the last 10 minutes of the movie. They just keep showing it. Like every time he gets his, like it's the bones and
like
shit.
That
and I'm
stuff.
like, I understand why it's so subdued in Mortal Kombat. They show it like once a match, like because it gets annoying. Like, why are you showing this shit so much?
In Bliss the League, you be knocking everybody out.
It's like every time.
That's how it is on every play in Bliss.
He gets punched in the head, shows his ribs. Like, why? Why?
His body went like that. His ribs
Yeah,
got fucked up.
it got hurt. Rib pierced his skin. Like the first time it was cool. It just got too much. But anyway, so he's losing, and then like he ends up winning because of adrenaline or some shit. Oh, because he sees Ryan at the corner of his eye, and he's like, "I'm going to fight you next." So then he like overcomes
Reversal!
and he reverses, and he ends up winning.
Who was the guy? The announcer guy?
It was Afion Crockett.
Yeah.
So then Jake wins. Jake goes to the back room where they keep food or ice or some shit. Yeah. He fills the bag up with ice, has it on his rib right, and the guy walks in, who I thought was John at first. When they first showed him and he's doing the refereeing shit, I'm like, is John here refereeing even though he doesn't approve of this? Why is there so much like ancillary shit going on in the background of your room? But anyway, so Jake's in the back room, and the ref walks in. He was like, "Hey, are you good to fight?" Jake's like, "Yeah, give me a minute." And then Baja walks in, and Jake's like, "I said fucking give me a minute. Leave me alone." And then Baja's like, "Well, my bad. I'll just leave then." And then she's like, "Are you okay?" And then they're talking. And Jake's like, "Why are you here?" And Baja was like, "I got tired of waiting for Max's family. Then I realized we're his family."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Go get him, Tiger. You can win."
Go get him, Tiger.
And they walk out. Then it shows Ryan while Jake's in the back room with Baja, right? Ryan's fighting, and Ryan pokes the guy in the eye.
Which was so
Why?
stupid. You were winning.
Why?
The guy couldn't touch you. You did all that for no reason.
He didn't even poke him in his eye. He like tried to gouge his eye out. Why? You were about to win.
It made no sense.
And like he had his finger in his eyeball. He was like, "Ah!" And he's like screaming and shit.
That was dumb too.
Like he's going through. He did it a bunch of times throughout the movie.
Like you might as well do too. Shit.
So he pokes the guy out. So Ryan gets disqualified because he poked guy's eye out, right? Yeah, so Ryan loses. Jake walks out. Jake's getting ready to fight the semifinals.
McCarthy. DQ.
So then he's like, so then he taps it twice. Yep. He taps out. He leaves.
Everybody was pissed.
Well, I mean, he was only there to fight Ryan, but I'm like, just fight Ryan then. Like, why go through all this shit? You could have fought him with. Man,
I just rolled up.
Yeah, like now you got a broken rib. You about to fight? Like you done fucked yourself. So then Jake walks outside. Ryan busts out with no shirt on, blows the doors off the hinges. He's running, walking up to him. He's like, "Where the fuck are you going, man?" And then Jake's like, "I'm only here to fight you.
I don't care about it.
It was all about you. I don't give a fuck about these other guys." And then Jake turns around. He's walking like with fucking limp and shit. And then Ryan, fucking punk ass, just runs up and like punches him.
He grabs him like here and then punches him here. I'm like, bro, you could have done so much more damage. Like, and then you could have drop kicked him like something.
And then I don't know if I missed this or if it was a transition. So the next thing I remember is Ryan had his shirt, or Jake had his shirt off. Did they show him taking his shirt off?
Yeah, Ryan was grabbing him, and he had a hold of the shirt, and Ryan slipped out of it and then punched him in the face.
Because I didn't understand this, because like Jake or Ryan went up and punched him, and then the next scene, Jake's like backing up, and he has a shirt off. I'm like, where the fuck did his shirt go?
Ryan took it, he grabbed it. He took he slipped out and then punched him in the face.
That makes sense, because I'm like, this shirt just fucking vanished.
It bugged me in this scene, though, because all the cars were already in a circle. That's not how everybody just fucking decided to park. So that kind of bugged me.
I didn't notice that. But then the people inside, they're like, "Oh, the real championship's outside because fuck these guys." And then they start running through the mats and shit. I'm like, if I was them two, I'm like, well, shit, like, fuck you guys. I was about to be champion.
Man.
So then everybody runs outside. They turn on the headlights of the cars.
Light them up.
They start fighting, and then this is when I really noticed the rib bone thing, where they keep showing it like Mortal Kombat. I'm like, god damn, like this is where the entire budget of this movie went, for these after effects for these fucking ribs.
I like it.
So they keep showing it, and then Jake's fighting, Ryan fights kind of dirty, like picks him up and slams him into a couple cars. They're fighting.
I feel like I'd rather be dropped in the car than dropped in the cement, though. Like,
I guess, but they're fighting. It's just a long fight scene.
And Baja's crying through the entire thing. Like, you knew what, when coming here, you knew what the fuck was about to happen.
She made us sound like he was getting stabbed or some shit.
Man.
So they're fighting. Baja's like, "No, leave him alone." And then Jake starts winning. She's like, "Oh my god, yay!"
And then McCarthy grabs him and puts him in a headlock.
I put a headlock, and then he starts yelling like he's fucking Godzilla or some shit. And then Jake
starts to pass out and has a bunch of flashbacks of everything.
Oh yeah, another montage.
Flashback. I wouldn't call it a montage.
All this fucking movie is flashbacks
and then
montages.
He's like about to pass out, and he's like, and it grabs him from like. There's no way.
Yeah, I didn't understand how it flipped.
He was like this, and then brought him down. Like no, that didn't happen.
He was like, "You're on my level now."
Like I would have saw that arm raise. I would have popped him. Like no, that's not happening.
But so they're fighting. Jake ends up winning and slams him on the ground with some shit. I forget how it ended. It
ended with the same thing of John Roca doing at the beginning when he was teaching.
Oh yeah, because Karate Kid once again. Karate Kid, motherfucker does the wax on, wax off crane kick. Oh, that was another Karate Kid thing. So he breaks his ribs. Karate Kid breaks his leg. Like this is big.
Karate Kid got that special like thing though, didn't he?
I don't think so. I
think that
it would depends on if you're talking about the original or the Jaden Smith one.
Yeah,
I don't remember that one, but it like breaks his leg, does crane kick, the thing that he fucking learned wax on, wax off. I'm like, this is basically Karate Kid except martial arts instead of.
No, not at all. And they didn't fight in the tournament. They left.
But it was a tournament. They was like,
left.
You think it's Karate Kid? They're gonna lose. They're gonna get. It's not gonna be tournaments.
The first time I watched, I was like, bro, how much time we got left in this movie? Like that pissed me off. Like,
when he left after like when he tapped out and he left, I'm like, so is there not gonna be a final fight? Like, are they not resolving the conflict and he's just gonna go back to the hospital? And then he busts the doors off the hinges. I'm like, okay, they're just gonna fight in the parking lot. Anyway, Jake wins, and then it cuts to him the next day. In school?
I assumed it was a little bit later.
A week, maybe. He's in school walking around. He's fucking popular now. He got Baja on his arm.
He sees Ryan, though, and they
Which
nod.
pissed me off. They nodded at each other.
Ryan's a good guy now.
No, he's a fucking... What would have been cool if Ryan just, like, started running at him and it faded to black. That would have been cool. But, that's how I would have ended the movie. Or he'd be like, fuck your dad!
see if he had the anger
yeah,
issues
see if he was still angry. But they nodded at each other. I'm like, so they're friends now? What?
Or it should have ended with Ryan getting his dad drunk and then like, hey bro, you can drive.
Oh, when they were another problem I had with this movie, right? So they're fighting and everybody's recording it on their semi-smartphones.
Bro, fuck those phone blurry ass shit. You can't see
Max is watching it in the hospital. Couldn't tell if it was live or if it was a recording.
Twitch.tv / Jake Ryan.
I couldn't tell if it was live or not. And then he starts screaming, and the nurse looks at him. He's like, oh, my bad. It was kind of like the scene in Remember Titans where Bertier's in the hospital and he's watching the game. He was like, Alice, leave me alone. The game's on. That's what it reminded me of. But, yeah.
He's so like, hype.
So Bertier or Max?
Both. But more than Max, mostly.
I'm watching Remember Titans next week. But,
I've never seen it.
Next week. But, anyway, so Jake is with Baja. We haven't seen his little brother in a while. I wonder if he's in the spinoffs, sequels. So yeah, that was the end of the movie.
7.3 out of 10.
It's all right.
I like it.
It's pretty good. There was a lot of. I don't feel like there was a lot of character growth. Sort of.
How, Jake?
I don't know. I just feel like it was too much fighting. It was too much Mortal Kombat shit for me. I'm watching Mortal Kombat. But anyway, it was all right. It was okay. There was another noise. But yeah. So that was my thoughts, review, plot, points, whatever.
7.3 out of 10.
I'm not giving a score. I'm giving it an eh.
It's a 7.3 out of 10.
No, I'll give it a half eh. Half good. But anyway, so next week, right?
Yeah.
You're going to watch Beetlejuice.
No. I've seen it.
You have not seen Beetlejuice.
Lindsay and I watched it.
When?
Like 5 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No.
What?
It's too old. I didn't like it.
I gotta find something else.
I'm just kidding. I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No,
I was about to quiz you.
Didn't like it. I'm not gonna remember it. If I'd quiz you on anything, for Never Back Down.
I looked at the runtime for Beetlejuice because when I originally looked up the runtime for Never Back Down, I thought it said it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. I was like, why the? Yeah, I know. I was like, why the fuck does he keep giving me these long ass movies? Because Castaway was fucking 4 hours.
Me too.
But then I looked up the runtime for Beetlejuice. It's like an hour 15.
Really?
Yeah, it was like an hour 20. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna knock this out quick. I haven't seen Beetlejuice in a long time, but it's it's in my top 15, so it'll be nice to go back and revisit it. But yeah, so next week Beetlejuice, it'll be his first time. Can't wait.
I can.
I have nothing else to say.
Watch Never Back Down. I'm gonna watch it again after this, and the second and third one because I just want to watch them again. I like them. But till next time, hit that subscribe button. See you.
Till next time.